Sick of people at ESPN or Sports Center who think they have their heads on their shoulders but really don't? I'm talking to you, Stephen A. Smith. Here I am coming after you. Woo! It's time for the Jimmy the K Sports Show, and I apologize for being a tad bit late. However, apparently Facebook does not like my phone right now. But hey, I'm here. That's all that counts, right, guys? It's another week and another day and another dollar. I have to tip my hat or my hair or my baldness or whatever you want to call it to the Houston Astros. While I'm not an Astros fan per se, I am a Texan born and raised, so you have to give kudos to the Houston Astros for winning the World Series, and I kind of want to get into that a little bit. I want to spend a lot of time this evening, and probably the majority of the show, talking about the World Series, especially the topic of Yu Darvish. Yu Darvish, a former Texas Ranger, had a couple of hiccups in Game 3 or 4 and Game 7 as well. And due to that, you know, him and Jake Arrieta are the only two major league pitchers commanding a high level of velocity when it comes to money. When you look at Yu Darvish was expected to make $11 million this year. Any options will be declined, and he's going to be a free agent, plain and simple as that. Now, an earlier report came out earlier today that said Yu Darvish really appreciated the Los Angeles Dodgers organization and that he made huge strides with them. He had the ability to not only get better, but he found himself. So what happened is you have the Los Angeles Dodgers going after Yu Darvish. The Texas Rangers go pretty well. And by going well, you have the Yu Darvish commanding a big raise. Now, the truth of the matter is, does Yu Darvish deserve a raise? Personally, after games 3 or 4 and Game 7, no. You know, to say that he is commanding the type of money that Jake Arrieta is making or did make is ridiculous when you think about it, because you think Jake Arrieta won a World Series with the Chicago Cubs. He's had pretty good seasons with the Chicago Cubs. Yu Darvish, on the other hand, was with the Texas Rangers, made the playoffs a few times, collapsed. Yu Darvish did well in the NLCS and the NLDS, but when it came to the World Series, he completely choked. When you look at his stats from last night in Game 7, it was 1 2/3 innings. 1 2/3 innings. 5 runs, 4 hits. The Dodgers were 1 for 13. 1 for 13 with runners in scoring position. Being 1 of 13 with runners in scoring position, what you get is you get a loss, especially when the Houston Astros take off out of the front gate, taking you 5-0. And basically all you get is the fact that Yu Darvish can only go an inning in 2/3. On the other hand, you look at what Clayton Kershaw did. Clayton Kershaw didn't have the best of games, but when he came out, he pitched and pitched well. But Clayton Kershaw is the whole big equation to all this. Do the Dodgers want Yu Darvish to follow Clayton Kershaw and the Dodgers organization? They know what Yu Darvish is capable of doing. They know what Yu Darvish is capable of giving them throughout the season. They know what he can do in the NLDS and the NLCS, but they know that if they make it back to the World Series, he could collapse again. It's quite possible that, Yu Darvish has said that he appreciates the Los Angeles Dodgers organization and that he would really, really like for them to sign him to a multi-year deal so that he can stay in Los Angeles. He really appreciates that organization. However, you're going to have a lot of teams vowing or vouching for his assistance and his pitching assistance in the major leagues. The question that comes to mind, and a lot of Texas Ranger fans will ask the same question, is are the Rangers going to go after Yu Darvish? They need at least 3 starters. Um, uh, Shonti Otani, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is the name that I'm pronouncing, he's a pitcher over in Japan that could very well be posted. And if he is posted, Major League Baseball teams are going to go after him because not only can he hit, or not only can he pitch, but he can hit. So basically, American League teams are trying to say, hey, we've got a player that can play DH for us in the season whenever he's not pitching. So the big question is, does the Texas Rangers go after Yu Darvish? I don't think the Texas Rangers do go after Yu Darvish. I'll tell you something. I have to sit here and I have to eat crow twice in one show because I did have the Astros or the Dodgers winning the World Series in 5. Any of y'all know that if y'all watch the show, I had the Dodgers winning in 5. That did not come to fruition. And 2, I had the TCU Horned Frogs winning in the national championship because, man, they looked pretty good up until last game. So, I'm eating crow twice in one show. But I have to give kudos to the Houston Astros. Congratulations to them. And, honestly, though, you have to tip your hat to the Astros and their offense and the defense and the rest of the team. I mean, pitching-wise, from the start of the playoffs until the end of the World Series, the Houston Astros were top-notch. I can't mince fences here. I can't be rude or I can't knock the Houston Astros because the truth of the matter is, you look at the statistics from the start of the playoffs until the end of the playoffs, this team was a totally different team, especially once they hit that ALCS against the New York Yankees. So, congratulations to the Houston Astros. The big question is, where does Yu Darvish shine right now? I've got 5 picks where I think Yu Darvish could quite possibly sign. The Dodgers being number 1. I think, he sincerely likes the Los Angeles Dodgers. And if he approaches their front office, the Dodgers are going to give him enough reign to say, hey, we're going to give you a redemption here. We're going to sign you in a multi-year deal here. We're going to let you follow Clayton Kershaw, Alex Wood, and, the rest of our organization. We're going to just continue to get better. We're going to be that team that can make the World Series yet again next year. So the Los Angeles Dodgers are my number 1 pick to sign Yu Darvish. The number 2 pick to sign Yu Darvish is the Chicago Cubs. The Chicago Cubs, I believe it or not, I think, if they can't re-sign Jake Arrieta, they'll definitely go after Yu Darvish. My third team to possibly sign Yu Darvish, and this is early on. This is early on in the off season. Things are just starting to roll right now. Players are starting to be declined in options. Players are starting to be claimed as well. New managers are only starting to be introduced to Major League Baseball as of right now. Number 3 team that I could quite well see possibly signing Yu Darvish is the New York Yankees. The New York Yankees could quite possibly sign Yu Darvish. It's something I have a strong feeling could happen. The New York Yankees and Brian Cashman, CeCe Sabathia is getting up in age. They've got, a few other good core pitchers. but they could very well lose Tanaka, and if they lose Tanaka, they will definitely go after Yu Darvish. A number 4 team to go after Yu Darvish is going to be a surprise team. A lot of people are going to disagree with me, but I think it's quite possible. You're definitely going to see a team like the Tampa Bay Devil Rays making a run at Yu Darvish. I think Tampa Bay Devil Rays will make a huge run at Yu Darvish if becoming available. The number 5 team, and it's a toss-up between the Texas Rangers and the Houston Astros. Yu Darvish wanting to win a championship so bad, I could very well see him trying to approach Nolan Ryan and Reed Ryan and the rest of the Houston Astros organization as he attempts to win a ring with the Houston Astros. But it's a toss-up between them and the Texas Rangers. As you know, he did like it here in Texas. No matter how much you can agree or disagree with it, you know, he did love Texas, and he felt really, really happy that you know, their pitching staff worked with him and tried to get him to where he needed to be. So congratulations to the Houston Astros, your 2017 World Series champions. Congratulations to them. Do you have questions for the show? Do you have questions? I know you're watching me on AllAbout SportsZone live here on Facebook Live on our page. Hop on there, ask questions. Just pop on there and ask any questions available. I love hearing from you. You can also tweet me at JimmyKersey1 on Twitter. You can also email me at allaboutsportszone@gmail.com. Or you can message me through our website, which this will be live on after a bit once it uploads. Our website is www.screamerproduction.wix.com/allaboutsportszone. We'd love to hear from you. Any sports question is applicable. You know, keep it appropriate for 18 to 65-year-olds, as that is mainly our targets, our target demographic, mainly men. But you know, we've got women that love this show. I've got people from overseas that watch the show. I've got people from California that watch the show, the New York City that watch the show, and I appreciate y'all. Keep those questions coming. What other sports news do we have here? Well, I had to eat crow twice. You already heard that. Kind of stinky, you know. Kind of stinky when I have to eat crow more than once, right? I had to eat it twice in one show. So, you know, college football. You know, I made the comment last week, and I'm still in this. You know, I can't. I'm not going against myself, but the truth of the matter is, I think Alabama is beatable. Alabama is really, if you look at their schedule, they really have not played anybody this season. And, you know, for them to have the number 1 ranking, or, you know, and continue to have the number 1 ranking is okay. But when you've got to play somebody, and I think Alabama's going to go down, the national championship in college football this year is going to be a 1-loss team, because, you know, the way the playoff system goes this year, it's a battle. It's a battle, you know. It's a 2-team battle. So, you know, the big deal is, you know, Ohio State lost to Oklahoma. Can they still win the national championship? Definitely. Penn State lost to Ohio State last game by a point. Can they still beat Alabama? Definitely. Oklahoma lost. Can they beat Alabama? Definitely. You know, there's TCU lost. Can they beat? Definitely. You know, there's lots of teams in college football that can beat Alabama. There's going to be the national title this year from college football. Take my word for it. I will eat crow live here on the show. If this does not happen, Alabama goes undefeated and wins the national championship. But I said it here first. The national championship in college football is going to be a 1-loss team. A 1-loss team. It is going to be a 1-loss team. And if it's not, I will sit here and eat crow for you. I will sit here and eat crow because I know you like to see it. Oh, man. What other sports news? The Texas Rangers. The Texas Rangers, let's get a little bit back off track. Back to Major League Baseball. They have signed Kobe Lewis, not to a pitching contract. I know you're sitting here going, man, he's like 58 years old. He can't pitch anymore. The truth of the matter is, he's been signed as a special assistant, much similar to that of Ivan Pudge Rodriguez and the front office, Michael Young as well. So Kobe Lewis is now a special assistant to the Texas Rangers, and will have the role basically that Michael Young and Ivan Pudge Rodriguez plays, where he can go out and come in and make things happen. So Kobe Lewis, congratulations to signing the deal to be a special assistant with the Texas Rangers. We look forward to seeing you around the ballpark each and every time next year. Hopefully, we're not floating around third or fourth place next year. What other news? It was actually reported earlier today, within the last couple of hours, that Don Wakamatsu, try saying that fast 3 times, Wakamatsu, Wakamatsu, Wakamatsu. Don Wakamatsu, former bench coach for the Texas Rangers back in, I believe, 07 to 09, has been hired as the Texas Rangers bench coach next year, pushing Steve Buechele to the first base coaching position as the Rangers look to reshuffle a little bit of their coaching staff here and there to hopefully get better in the Major League season next year. So we've covered college football a little bit. We've covered Major League Baseball. Cover NBA. Let's cover the NBA some. Let's cover the NBA. Tristan Thompson is out at least a month with a torn ligament, I believe, in his ankle, if I'm not mistaken, is what I've read the report as earlier. Tristan Thompson. So, and the Cleveland Cavaliers, if you've watched the Cleveland Cavaliers, try saying that fast 3 times. The Cleveland Cavaliers here of late, they just don't look like themselves. They don't look like that NBA championship team that they once used to be. So losing Tristan Thompson's not going to help. On the other hand, you look at the Oklahoma City Thunder, they've got Chris Paul, they got Carmelo Anthony, along with Russell Westbrook, and they continue to only get better. As they continue to only get better, the only team in the Western Conference right now not to get better is that of the Dallas Mavericks, man. The Dallas Mavericks, I believe, right now have started 1-7. And, Mark Cuban's got to be itching right now. He's got to be saying, what can we do as an organization here to get better? Because, we've done everything to get younger and, build ourselves as a championship team. But, yeah, we're just falling farther and farther down the range right now. So, what can the Mavericks do to get out of this funk, so to speak? What can they do? I think, basically they can play better. I mean, it's obvious they can play a lot better, right? Right? I could be Stephen A. Smith. They could play a lot better. Yes, I could be, but I'm not. That's why this is not Sports Zone or this is not ESPN First Take. This is the Jimmy the K Sports Show. Stephen A. Smith, I'm calling you out. Mark Cuban's a pretty smart businessman, but I think if you look at what the Dallas Mavericks have started to do since he's taken, that avenue of appearing on Shark Tank and and helping entrepreneurs. While I'm not saying it's a bad thing, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's a bad thing for Mark Cuban to take the reins and help entrepreneurs the way that he is. But you look at the record that the Dallas Mavericks have made since he started his appearances on Shark Tank. They have increasingly decreased in the amount of wins and the amount of versatility that they've had over the years. And you kind of got to wonder if Mark Cuban spent a lot of that money uh, that he was going to use for the Dallas Mavericks to help some of those entrepreneurs that he's helped on Shark Tank. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Don't get me wrong. I think it's great for him to help entrepreneurs. I think it's excellent. But if he's using that of what he could be using for the Dallas Mavericks to help get them better, then you're going to have something coming, and that's a 1-7 season to start to a season right now. So Mark Cuban's got to figure it out. What does he want? Does he want another NBA championship, or does he want to get more famous by helping entrepreneurs on Shark Tank? So it's a little bit of NBA news for you there. Just coming across the wire within the last 2 hours, I guess, Deshaun Watson, the starting quarterback for the Houston Texans, has torn his ACL, I believe, and is out for the season, which is not cool at all, because you tear your ACL, it's practically over. That means you're stuck with the backup. Yep, tears his ACL. That's basically a year-long injury, and that's within the last hour or so. He tore it in practice, so if you're a Houston Texan fan and you were hoping Deshaun Watson would win the Rookie of the Year and be that of Dak Prescott and make the Houston Texans a world champion just like that of your Houston Astros, it's not going to happen, at least not with him at the helm. Torn ACL, you're looking at probably the year. Plus losing J.J. Watt, your secondary, the Houston Texans are having a lot of hiccups right now, and a lot of hiccups that are hard to overcome. You lose a quarterback to an ACL tear for the season. You lose J.J. Watt for a month or two. You're having issues. Dwayne Brown's having problems, doesn't want to sign, is a holdout, does finally sign, becomes a pain in the locker room. They trade him to the Seahawks. You've got issues. Okay, now on the other side of the equation, let me readjust myself here. As many Dallas Cowboy fans know, Ezekiel Elliott has lost his battle in court, and he'll have to serve his 6-game suspension. Everything to this point has been that he'll start the 6-game suspension this Sunday and won't be eligible to come back until, 3 weeks before the end of the season. I believe that's December 17th against the New York Giants. I could be wrong. I will go back and look at that for you. Get that back to you here on the page. Or, even better, I'll tell you now. I'm kidding. Oh, man. But it's gonna be running back by committee for the Dallas Cowboys, losing that of Zeke Elliott. As you've seen through the games that he's played, he's continued to rush a lot better. That offensive line has created holes for him, and he's taken advantage of that. He's like the next Emmitt Smith for the Dallas Cowboys, in my opinion. However, losing him for the next 6 weeks, you've got Darren McFadden and Darren McFadden as one of the running backs. And then you've got, who's the other knucklehead? They'll both be sharing duties. Used to play for the Used to play for the Washington Redskins. Can't think of his name. But this just in, the Dallas Cowboys have their starting running back for this week against the Chiefs. And it probably won't be Darren McFadden more than likely. It's going to be a running back by committee, but I'll definitely well, actually, that's what it looks like. Rod Smith, running backs Rod Smith and Derek McFadden will follow Alfred Morris. Alfred Morris being the starting running back for the Dallas Cowboys, at least for this game against the Kansas City Chiefs. If he does well, then more than likely he'll get the starting running back reins for the next 6 weeks with Rod Smith and Derek McFadden following. This was coming from Scott Linehan within the last couple hours that Alfred Morris will be the starting running back, at least for this game against the Kansas City Chiefs, followed by Rod Smith and Derek McFadden. And my guess is that if he continues, if Alfred Morris has a good rushing game, then more than likely he'll get the reins for the next 5 weeks after that until Zeke Elliott is able to come back from his suspension. My thoughts on Zeke Elliott's suspension. Great question, Tiffany from New York City. My thoughts on Zeke Elliott's suspension, honestly, what's fair is fair. I don't know the circumstances of what happened. I do know that one court did say that the girl's story is been, she hasn't been able to tell the same story over and over again. It's been very flawed every time. So, I don't know exactly what to believe. I do know that, if Zeke Elliott did do it, then he deserves the 6-game suspension. However, if he didn't do it, then he doesn't. But, the NFL's Players Association and Roger Goodell has spoken. You're going to have to suspend 6 games. You're suspended 6 games. The business of great follow-up question, Tiffany. My thoughts on Jerry Jones' comments made about the NFL trying to throw Zeke Elliott, basically throw him under the bus is her question. Many of y'all have seen the interview. The interview was basically Jerry Jones griping at Roger Goodell in the NFL and trying to tell him, hey, this is not the Ray Rice situation. This is Ezekiel Elliott. We've got our side of the story. Our side of the story seems to follow what that of Zeke Elliott has said. His lawyers, our lawyers, her lawyers have basically agreed to that. However, you're saying that this 16th Court of Appeals in New York City has say over the NFL. Well, Jerry Jones is going to say what he wants because Jerry Jones is going to protect his players. He wants to protect his players. Any good owner protects your players. Am I not correct, fans? Am I not correct? So, Jerry Jones is going to say whatever he can to try to throw the NFL under the bus. Now, I'll leave it at that. I'm going to close this show here the next hopefully 3 or 4 minutes with a little bit of my thoughts of the standing for the national anthem. I posted this on the AllAbout SportsZone page. And I also posted it on our website. You can find that there as well. I'm going to be quite honest with you. I'm always going to stand for the national anthem. It's just the way I am. I've got family members that have served and do serve for our military, and I'm not going to disrespect or or do anything to harm my relationship with those family members. However, I do realize that those people that don't stand for the national anthem have their rights. I get that. I get that. But it's not a matter of standing. It's a matter of pride. It's a matter of inconvenience. It's a matter of respect. You know, you look at the NFL's ratings for Sunday night football. The ratings for Sunday night football have decreased 25%. 25%. That 25% increase moved over to the World Series. No joke. You look at the media forums and all the hodgepodge numbers. Sunday night football has declined by 25%. That moved over to the World Series games. Those increased. Now, a question was brought up to me by a good friend of mine. You know, why doesn't Major League Baseball have, you know, commercials the way the NFL does? You know, people pay big money to put their commercials on for the Super Bowl. Why don't they pay big money for that of Major League Baseball? Right now they don't. But the more and more you look at it, if this trend continues of respect and disrespect and standing and not standing and arrogance and non-arrogance, then by 2018 or by 2019, 2020, you're going to find that the NFL and you're going to find that the NFL is going to have the same, it's going to be a flip-flop. The NFL is not going to have the commercials in the Super Bowl, and Major League Baseball, people are going to be paying the big monies to put commercial spots during the World Series because of this lack of respect between both groups. You know, I have no problem with a person voicing their opinion. Voicing their opinion. If a person comes on my page and says, I'm not going to stand for the national anthem because of this, that's fine. Voice your opinion. I have no qualms about that. However, when it's done by kneeling and then you're saying, hey, it's freedom of speech. Your knee does not talk. Your legs do not talk. Your arms do not talk. Your mouth talks. Actions don't talk. All right? It's not possible for actions to talk. So therefore, to say that I am kneeling and it's a freedom of speech is hodgepodge, because your knees don't speak, your arms don't speak, your mind don't, you know, your hands don't speak. It's a matter of respect. It's a matter of respecting those around you. It's a matter of, you know, if you're going to voice your opinion, voice it, you know, but at least go out and show respect for those who have served. Stand for the national anthem. I don't care if you put your hand over your heart or not. You just stand there for all I care. But stand there. Even if your mind's saying, this is hodgepodge. To yourself, fine. But when you kneel, that's not Speech, it's an action. Action is not speech, all right? So let's get over Colin Kaepernick trying to say this is freedom of speech. No, it's not. Freedom of speech is through mouth, not through actions. So, could I see by 2019 or 2020 the NFL losing so many sponsors if this is not nipped in the bud? That Major League Baseball has the amount of commercials and the great funny commercials that the Super Bowl has now. Could I see that? I could quite definitely see that by 2019 or 2020. Those are my thoughts. And now, that's the rest of the story. No, I'm kidding. Well, guys, I appreciate y'all stopping by. This is me, Jimmy the K. You see me each and every Thursday night here on YouTube. You can also find me on YouTube. If you view me on YouTube, just go to YouTube, search engine All About Sports Zone, or you can go to the All About Sports Zone page on Facebook, find our website, www.screamerproduction.wix.com/allaboutsportszone. You can scroll your way down, and anytime we are live at 8 p.m. on Thursday evenings, we'll be live on our own website as well. It'll also post this as soon as it's over with, within the hour. So I appreciate you stopping by. Continue to ask your questions. Remember, there's ways you can ask your questions. You can email me, allaboutsportszone@gmail.com. That's one word, allaboutsportszone@gmail.com. You can like me on Facebook, www.facebook.com. Search All About Sports Zone, like the page. Tell your friends about us. We're up to 74 likes. And here, believe it or not, I am thinking of doing something special if I get 100 likes. But that's only if I get 100 likes. Tell your friends about it. Have them like the page. And something special could happen for our 100th like here on All About Sports Zone Facebook page. Also, you can like me on Twitter @JimmyCursey1. You can find us at our website at www.screamerproduction.com/allaboutsportszone. Remember to send those to me. I'll see you next Thursday night, same time, same bat channel, same life. Guys, and I'll be talking more NBA, some hockey, some basketball, some football, you name it, I'll be talking it because you know you love seeing me. Be sure to check out my friend Duran Du on Crossover Radio, Tuesdays, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. That's go to your app store, type in Crossover Radio. It's a little gray cross. You like the app, listen to him. It's from Locale Restaurant in Yukon, Oklahoma. Be sure to like their page. Ask them questions through their page as well. Until next Thursday night, 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Peace. I'm out of here.
The next 30 minutes are
Thanks for viewing, guys.
Thanks to the following sponsor.
Your prescription does have a few side effects. You're gonna have dizziness, nausea, and chronic flatulence.